What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here with more Madden Championship talk. So today is round 2 of the single elimination. Tomorrow will be the championship game. Quickly to recap, yesterday I went 7 for 8 on my picks, so pretty much nailed them all except one. So that was a pretty good pretty good by me there. I think I'm doing better than Rico is if we're keeping score. My rock solid picks are looking pretty good. So to recap quickly, game one was who played in game one? Just like that. Volterex and Beast Mode Mac. I picked Volterex. He he played a pretty solid game. He won that game pretty easily. I have to say that he's kind of winning me over a little bit more. I think the same he's doing with a lot of people because he's showing that there's more to his game than just the swerve. He hasn't really been using the swerve a whole lot like people expected. He's been running the ball really good. He's mixing up his plays. He's playing good on defense. So he's actually showing people that he has more to his game and he has evolved his game throughout the year. The second game was W versus Los. I went with Los. Los won that one. It was a pretty tough, close game. Los is advancing on. The third game, it was Boogs versus Silent Soldier. This is the one I got wrong. I went with the underdog pick of Silent Soldier. He almost, I mean, he was inches away from getting a first down that possibly could have sealed the game. But he was fourth in inches. He was gonna go for it. Then he got a false start, took the field goal. So then Boogs had one drive left to either tie the game or to win it with a touchdown. He put together a flawless drive and he won it at the end of regulation. So that was a really great drive by Boogs, championship caliber drive to win that game. The next game was Joke versus Monster. I went with Joke. Joke won that one. That was kind of a sloppy game on both sides, but Joke was able to win that one pretty easily. The next game was, I believe, who was the next game? Skimbo versus Little Man. Skimbo went with him, of course, the number one ranked player this year. Skimbo won that game. The next game was what I thought was probably the toughest game to pick, which was Spot Me Please versus Strafin. I did go with Spot Me Please, and it was a tough, close game. It went into overtime. Spot Me took the 3 in overtime. Then Strafin was inside the 15. He was in striking distance, threw a couple passes that some think may have should have been caught, should have not been caught. I'm not sure. But he wound up throwing a pick on a high point pass after a couple attempts, and Spot Me Please was able to take the game home. That was a very tough game. Either player could have won that one, and it wouldn't have said any less about the other player. Very tough game. The next game was another tough one, Problem versus Mo. I went with Problem. Uh, Mo played a great game, like he said in the post-game interview. He was visibly upset. He felt like he played the perfect game, and I would say he pretty much did play about as close to a perfect game as you can play. Like he said, Problem is the best defensive Madden player of all time, and you really can't play any better than that on offense against him. Uh, I would say that the luck went a little bit more in Problem's favor for sure. I do think Mo played the better game. I did pick Problem to win, so I mean, as far as my picks go, it was good that he won. But I do think Mo played the better game, and I could see why he was upset after the game. And just as a side rant, I didn't think it was too. I didn't think it was good the way the interviewer asked him about his father. And I get it, that probably wasn't her that wanted to ask that. They probably told her to ask that. But somebody higher up has to be smarter than that. That's the type of question. It's hard to ask regardless, but it's okay to ask that question if you win the game. Because it's good emotion when you win. You can use it as motivation, but you don't want to ask a player that when they lose a game because now it's kind of just piling on to. He already thought he should have won the game. He already felt cheated and down, and you don't want to pile on top of that. So I don't. I think someone should have been smarter than that in that chain of command to not to get the message down to, hey, don't ask this question. But it happened, so it is what it is. And in the last game, the Battle of the Youth, Kiv versus Hollywood, I did go with Kiv. He won that game. Like I said, he's a little bit better on both sides of the ball than Hollywood, so I think that's what gave him the edge in this game. Now to go over the predictions for today. We got Skimbo versus Los. My head tells me to go with Skimbo here, but the fan in me wants to see Los win. He's the guy that I want to win the whole thing. He's looked great. I do think Skimbo is a little bit better than Los this year. I don't think maybe anybody's better than Skimbo this year, even though he hasn't won the whole thing. Consistently, he probably is the best player this year. That's why he is ranked #1. But I'm gonna pull for Los here, so I'm gonna kind of step away from my head a little bit here and go with who I really want to see winning. And Los is capable of beating anybody. It's not like it would be a shocker if he won this game, but I do think Skimbo is a little bit better this year. But I'm going with Los. Second game, Spot Me Please versus Kib. I think this is a very evenly matched match, I guess you would say here. But I'm gonna go with Spot Me Please, just because he's just been keeping it very unpredictable on offense, and I think that's just giving him a little bit of an edge over everybody he plays. So I'm gonna go with Spot Me Please here. Next game, Boogs versus Joke. I'm going to go with Boogs here because he just made the deeper runs this year. A little bit more experience. He's a little bit more battle-tested than Joke. Joke makes more mistakes than Boogs does. So I think Boogs will be able to take this victory. And the last game, this is actually a really tough one because if you would have asked me at any other point, I would have said definitely Problem. But right now, Voltrex might be playing the best because he's just got so much in his arsenal. He's the person that no one wants to play. You would say normally Problem is the guy that nobody wants to play, but right now I do think Voltrex is the guy that nobody wants to play because he's just got so much in his arsenal, and he's showing that even if he can only pull out the swerve once or twice a game, and you don't know when it's coming because the rest of his game has been that good. So this is a tough matchup. I would not be surprised if Volt won this game, but I am going to go with Problem because I think this is where we might see Volt show the inexperience, and when I say when I mean it when I say that is he's never made a run this deep before, and now he's going up against the greatest of all time. Even if he's playing better than Problem this year in this tournament, he's going up against the greatest of all time. He's never made a run this deep before. He's a young dude. Um, I think this is where the nerves get to him. I think this is where he gets out of his game and he overthinks it because that's what happens when a lot of people play Problem for the first time or they match up with him this deep in a tournament. They start overthinking things. They let the fact that they're playing the greatest player of all time get to them. They're on the big stage. Everybody's watching. I just think this is where Volt is going to just overthink it a little bit and maybe just slip up. And Problem is the guy that when you do that, he will always take advantage of it. So I think that's what gives Problem the edge in this matchup. But would not be surprised to see Volt pull out the win because he's been playing phenomenal. So I believe the semifinals are going to be today as well, so I won't be able to really do any predictions on that because we have to see who wins first. But I will be back tomorrow to talk about the championship game. So, drop your comments below. Who do you think's going to win? What you thought about yesterday, and all that good stuff. And I will see you guys next time.